Hi everyone, I'm Cheryl and welcome to the Sewing Room channel, and this is your tip of the week. I'm going to go over some suggested table runner projects and little things you can do it to take a very plain table runner and make it look special. And so I like to make table runners that are rectangle, that are squared, but sometimes in the corners, if you don't quite stitch it right, the edges will curl up at the corner. So lots of times I will just round my edges. And I'm going to show you a really easy way to do that. So cut your fabric. It can be any fabric you want. This is just a sample of a style. So you're going to cut two pieces of fabric, one for the front, one for the back. Stitch the two long edges together, and you have your pretty sides, it's also called right sides, of the fabric that are together. And get that stitching done all along the side. Then to round those corners, I will fold it in half like this. Okay, and then go to your kitchen and look for something round. It could be a small plate, a bowl, a glass, anything. And you take it up there and put it in the corner. And when the sides of your round item hit the straight edges on each side, then you're going to either draw around it or go ahead and cut around it. I recommend you draw first, keep everything pinned together, and take scissors and cut it. And then unfold, and your two edges will be done. Then go to the other end and repeat that step. Then after you've done all your cutting, then go ahead and start on one of the side seams, stitch along around the bottom. Now always when you make a table runner that's like this, you want to leave an opening along the side where you can reach inside and turn it front side out. But on these curved edges, before you can turn it front side out, you have to take your scissors and do little clips on that curved edge. So when you turn it front side out, it will lay flat. And then of course, press everything and then finish your table runner off. Now, here is a table runner. This happens to have an Easter theme, but remember you can apply this idea to anything that you're making, any table runner. Now, Easter, you don't always leave your table runners out all that long. It's not like Christmas where they're left out for quite a few weeks. So what I like to do on a lot of table runners that has a holiday theme on one side, I will print another type of fabric on the back side that is similar in color, because on this one I wanted rickrack on there. So how do you do the rickrack? First of all, you would cut those corners round like I showed you. Then you would take one of your fabrics, take your top fabric, and on the front side of that top fabric you will place your rickrack on it, and the edge of the rickrack will go on the raw edge of your top fabric. Then you're going to stitch down the middle of the rickrack. Then of course, then go ahead and add the fabric for the back. Then you would take that side where you can see the stitches you used to put the rickrack on and stitch right on top of it. And then when you turn it front side out, it looks like this. Now I'm going to have links to my table runners so that you can see this technique here and that you understand how to do it. Now this rickrack, when I turn this over, you'll notice that the rickrack also matches some of the print on the back side. Now you really want your table runner to show off in your dining area, whatever room that it's in. One of the things I like to do is I'll just go buy these inexpensive artificial flowers that kind of go with the colors. It also goes with the backside, and I just put them in a glass vase like this. So I get to use it for a much longer period of time. So I'm going to turn it over. So you saw what it looked like with that. And then this, and it makes a nice spring look. Now this is a very country looking table runner. I happen to really like country decor, and I sort of have contemporary country in my house because where we live it just doesn't sort of fit the country look. But I really do like it, and I like selecting fabrics that represent that. And if you've been watching me for a while, you know that I love roosters. So what makes this table runner look more country is putting a little ruffle on it. And ruffles, you can double layer your fabrics by cutting it extra wide, folding it in half, gathering it up, and then putting it on your table runner. So this does have that rounded area. It's easier putting a ruffle on a curved corner than it is a square corner. I've done it both ways, but it's a lot easier when you curve the edges. Other things I like to do to make my table runner show off is I will either take something like this. Because this table runner is very country, I took an apple basket, made this basket liner. Now it doesn't have chickens on it, it has apples. But I used my cross-stitch ability to make this little label, and it was really easy to do. So you can coordinate the table runner and your accessory to go on top all together. So if you're interested in cross-stitch and learning how to do it, then there will be links to my cross-stitch tutorials down below your YouTube screen in the description section. Another way to do a really simple table runner with just 2 pieces of fabric, you're not having to do a lot of cutting and piecing a lot of things together, is to do something like this, a pointed table runner with a tassel on the end. But to make it pointed, again, is very similar to how I showed you to make a round one. Go ahead and stitch your side seams. Once you've got all that done, then you fold it in half. And then you want to decide just how deep you want to make your point. So from here, if I went over this way, I went over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So then I would take my ruler, line it up over there, and then cut the corners off. Then you would go to the other end, and then you would finish stitching each end off. Now to put a tassel in, you would leave this little point unstitched. Leave about a 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch unstitched. Now when you make a table runner like this, you usually have an opening along the side where you can turn it front side out. So once you've turned it front side out and you've pressed your edges, you want to reach inside and pull. There's a little loop on the end of the tassel. Pull it through here and then finish stitching this closed. And so that's how you get a tassel. Now I like making the ones with the tassels if I want the runner to hang over the edge of the table. Another simple step that you can do on your runners is on your fabric that's on the top, you could cut a long strip of fabric to border each side of it. And that just really adds a lot more personality to a runner. So you just decide, how wide do I want my runner? And then you would subtract how big your border is. For instance, this border's about 2 inches wide. So let's say I wanted it to be, my whole table runner to be 15 inches wide. I would subtract 4 inches for these 2 borders. Then I would know that I would need to cut this fabric 11 inches. But before you cut, always add a 1/2 inch for seam allowance on all your pieces. This is another table runner that's very narrow, and it was purposely cut like that because what it was going to go on top of was a bookcase that was very narrow, and it was a short bookcase. It wasn't very tall. And so I wanted something really long like this in a very pretty bright color. So you can take 2 different prints that are the same intensity and color, if you like, and then stitch them together. So you have a different piece at each end like this. Then to cover the seam, you could take ribbon that's washable, because I make sure all my fabrics are washable, and stitch on each edge of the ribbon to hide the seam. And so it's a really nice way to add more personality to a very basic table runner design. Now here's one that's combining everything I've talked about. It's round, it has a different piece of fabric on each end, and it's got ribbon. But you can add one more thing. As you're stitching the ribbon on, just stitch this top edge on first to stabilize the ribbon. When you have beaded fringe like this, it's attached to a ribbon, so it's on a long band. Insert the ribbon underneath this unstitched edge here. Pin it down, and then take your zipper foot so that you can get up close to this edge and stitch this down. So this is one of my favorite table runners. I made it a long time ago, but I just think it's so pretty. Well, I hope this tutorial was helpful to you and gave you some ideas on table runners that you can do that don't take a lot of time. These are really basic table runner patterns. Now, if you're interested in getting more detailed information on the table runners, there will be a playlist below your YouTube screen in the description section. So just scroll down till you see the words more and click on that, and it will expand open so that you can see all of the links. Now, while you're down there looking around, make sure you also think about following me on Instagram and go and check out my Facebook page. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time, and happy sewing. If you like the Sewing Room channel, one of the best ways to show your support is to subscribe by clicking on that red subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. And don't forget to click on share to share this video with your friends. And make sure you click on the bell so you receive notifications for all my new videos. I'm Cheryl, this is Manny, and this is Scotty. See you next time.